How people treat you based on your income. $12,000 a year. You walk into a room and nobody adjusts. Not rudely, not intentionally. The room just continues at its existing temperature, and you find your place in it somewhere near the edges. You've learned to do this without thinking. You take the seat nobody claimed. You wait until the conversation has a gap before you try to enter it. You don't always find the gap. Your coworker asks what you did over the weekend. You say not much, stayed in. You didn't stay in by choice. You stayed in because going out requires a version of math that ruins the going out. She nods and tells you about her brunch. You listen, you ask questions. You are good at listening because listening doesn't cost anything. The landlord calls on the 3rd of the month, not because the rent is late. Because at this income, the landlord has your number memorized in a specific way. The way someone memorizes a thing they check on. You pay on time. He calls anyway. You go to the doctor once. The waiting room has chairs bolted to the floor and a TV nobody controls playing something. Nobody watches. The nurse calls your name without looking up from the clipboard. The doctor enters, reads the screen, asks 2 questions, types the answers, tells you what to do. The appointment is 11 minutes. You waited 40. Nobody apologizes for the math. At the grocery store, you know which aisles to avoid. Not because you don't want the things in them, because wanting things in aisles you can't afford is a specific kind of tired you've learned to preempt. You shop the perimeter. You shop the bottom shelf. You hold a number in your head the entire time, and the number is what you have, minus what you need. And the answer is always closer than comfortable. People are not unkind to you at $12,000. They are just not careful with you. There is a difference, and you know it by feel, even if you can't explain it. The first rule, at $12,000, you are present in every room you enter. You are just not the reason the room changed. $35,000. Something shifted, not in how you feel, in how people look at you when you speak. You got the job with the title on the email signature. You moved into the apartment with the door that locks and the silence on the other side that belongs to you. Small things. They don't feel small. Your manager says good work in a meeting and uses your name. Just your name, out loud, in a room with other people. You don't react. You file it somewhere and take it out later. You go to the same doctor. Different office. There's art on the wall. The nurse looks up when she calls you. The doctor asks 3 questions instead of 2, and one of them is, "How are you doing in general?" You say fine. She writes something down. The appointment is 18 minutes. You only waited 12. A new coworker asks where you went to school. You tell her. She nods in a way that means she is calculating something. You watch her calculate. The result lands somewhere in the middle of her face and stays there. Neutral. Acceptable. You have been assessed and passed. You didn't know there was a test. There is always a test. Your family notices the apartment. Your mother runs her hand along the kitchen counter and doesn't say anything, but you know what she's thinking, because you're thinking it too. This is further than the place we started. This is something. You are not comfortable at $35,000. Comfortable is not the word. The word is visible. You exist in rooms now in a way that requires acknowledgement, not warmth. Acknowledgement. People see you when you walk in. The second rule, at $35,000, you stop being invisible. You haven't started being seen. The distance between those 2 things is where most people spend their entire lives. $65,000. People ask your opinion now. Not because you became smarter, because the number attached to your life reached a threshold where your opinion became a thing the room wanted to hear. You noticed it first in meetings, then at dinners, then in the way your father introduced you to people he hadn't seen in years. He used to say, "This is my son." Now he says, "This is my son." He works at. The doctor's office has a receptionist who stands when you approach the desk. Not for you specifically. For everyone at this level. You don't know that yet. You just know that standing up feels different from sitting down when someone walks towards you, and you feel the difference even if you don't name it. You buy a car. Not an impressive one. A reliable one. But the salesman shakes your hand and calls you by your last name and shows you features you didn't ask about because he has calculated that you might say yes to things people at lower levels would not be shown. He is right. You say yes to 2 of them. An old friend from your $12,000 years calls and asks if you can help with something. The something is money. Not a lot. Less than your monthly car payment. You say yes without hesitating, and hang up and sit with the weight of how easy that was. How impossible it would have been 3 years ago. The number didn't change who you are, it changed what yes costs you. People laugh at your jokes slightly faster now. You noticed this 6 months in, and then wished you hadn't, because once you notice it, you can't stop measuring the delay between the punchline and the response, and calculating what percentage of the laugh is for you, and what percentage is for the income they assume you have. The third rule, at $65,000, people treat you like someone worth warming up to. That warmth is real. It is also conditional. The condition is the number, and the number can change. $110,000. The invitations changed, not the kind in envelopes, the other kind. The ones that arrive as a casual text, a mention over drinks, you should come to this. You are being added to a layer of social life that was always running parallel to yours. You just couldn't see it from where you were standing. Your dentist remembers your name without checking the chart. This is not an accident. This is training. Someone trained him that remembering names at this level is worth the effort. You don't know that. You just feel remembered, and it feels good. And feeling good is the whole mechanism. You get a different credit card offer in the mail. Not the secured ones. Not the ones with the high interest rates and the fine print, designed to be missed. A real one. With a number on the limit that would have seemed impossible at $35,000. You put it in the drawer. The fact that it exists changes something in the drawer. A stranger at a party asks what you do. You tell him. His body language opens slightly, not dramatically. A degree or two. The way a door opens that was previously closed but not locked. He asks a follow-up question. He stays in the conversation. At $12,000, he would have nodded and found someone else. You know this because you watched it happen to you from the other side for years, and now you are watching it from here, and the view is cleaner and worse. Your mother stops worrying out loud. She still worries. She just does it privately now because the number you make has crossed some internal threshold she set decades ago without telling you what it was. The fourth rule, at $110,000, people show you the version of themselves they want you to remember. You are worth the performance now. That is not nothing. It is also not everything. $200,000. You walk into a room and the room adjusts. Subtly. Nobody announces it. But there is a current that moves through the people who know the number, and it changes the angle of their attention without them deciding to change it. You feel it the way you feel a change in air pressure. Not dramatic. Real. Service is different now. Not better in a transactional way. Better in a relational way. The difference between someone doing their job and someone doing their job for you specifically. Names remembered. Preferences noted. The call returned before the end of the day, not because policy requires it, but because someone decided you were worth that speed. You have a conversation with a financial advisor who was referred to you by someone who was referred by someone else, and the whole chain is made of people at this level finding each other through the specific gravity of having similar numbers. The advisor asks about your goals, your estate, your timeline. He is not selling you something. He is mapping you. You are worth the map. An old colleague asks for career advice over coffee. He is where you were 7 years ago. You sit with him and you give him the advice, and you watch his face while you give it, and you recognize the face because you made that face, once sitting across from someone where you are now. He is filing what you say in the same place you filed it then. He will take some of it. Most of it he will believe when the number makes it real. People disagree with you differently now. Not less. Differently. There is a cushion in the disagreement, a consideration that wasn't there before. They are still saying no. They are just saying it softer. The fifth rule. At $200,000, the room doesn't just see you. The room makes room for you. That is a different thing entirely. $500,000. People stop telling you the price first. It happens so gradually, you miss the moment it changed. You are describing a problem and someone is describing the solution, and the number attached to the solution arrives at the end, like a formality, not a filter. Like a period at the end of a sentence that was already going to end. The price is the last thing. It used to be the first thing. That reordering is the whole story of this level. Your doctor calls you, not the office. The doctor. Your name in his phone.